So I have all these pieces left over from those infinite quilts I made last year, those two that look like this. What I'm gonna do, because I just need like a quick project, a little bit of a brain break, I'm going to cut these all down. They're jelly roll strips, so they should be 4.5 tall. And I'm gonna make sure that they're 4.5 wide so that they're square. And I'm just gonna turn all this into squares and then see what I can make out of them. I think what my plan, obviously not these two side by side, is to just like alternate. So then it'll be an upright and a down. So then the next row would be like this. And just not think about it, just put pieces together and see what happens. So I'm gonna get cutting those down and making them all the same size, and we'll see what happens. So there are 56 squares, so I can do 7 across, 8 down to see what that turns into. And I may make 2 piles, one pile that has this weird color in there and then piles that don't, so then maybe those will separate out. We'll see. So right now it's 29 by 33, and I feel like it could use a little bit more to make it look finished and make it a little bit bigger. So I cut 3.5 inch strips. I'm going to put a border on and hope that it helps. Here's where we're at with it. I got the borders on. The borders definitely make it look finished. So I think I'm just going to keep riding this high and see what I can come up for a quilt back. I may have to make its own little quilt back, as in piece some things together. But I thought I had some brown batik, but I don't see it on my shelf. That could very well mean it's just tucked somewhere, but we are going to go ahead and piece some backing because I've got little chunks of this left. I've got some of this left, and then I have the green. So we're gonna see what I can come up with for this. So there's our little quilt top that we've made. And then here is a peek at the super crazy quilt back. It is all sorts of piece, but I haven't left the house to go buy fabric, so this is all from my stash. So I'm just gonna go ahead and quilt this. So I'm gonna load on the long arm. I'm gonna use the graphite thread that's on there because I know it matches and coordinates well with this fabric. It's what I used when I quilted the original quilts. But I've got to Frankenstein some batting, so I'm gonna load this on, go make some batting, and then we're gonna quilt. We've managed to get this all basted in, and I'm going to go ahead and do the macrame pantograph. It's one of my favorites. I did it on the original version of this quilt, so clearly we're going with tried and true things that I know worked well in the original. The pantograph, the graphite thread, all these colors, and my chaotic pieced backing. So, you know what? It's 10:50 at night, so I think we're going to come back to this in the morning. I gotta let my camera charge, but at least we're ready to party. Okay, so there's our quilting. Nice, cute little baby quilt. That's really all this size is. We've got our Trixie quilt. Not that she needs another one, but then there's a little peek at some of the crazy back. So I'm gonna go add this to the trim up pile, and we're gonna see what happens next. So I thought I was just gonna go and just leave it at this point and bind it later and be next week's video, but I feel like I need to finish something. So I've got my binding all cut. The only thing I had was more of this. This is a 108 that it was from my Bold Blocks quilt in 21. And so that's now gonna help tie the back to the front, and I think it's gonna look good against the blue. Well, I guess we can see it against the blue here. So I made my 2 big long binding strips. I think it should go all the way around because this was 108 inches wide at one point. So let's do this. So it's coming around while I was putting my binding on, and look at this. What the heck? I don't know where that came from. It's in the middle in a weird spot, so it's not while I was trimming up, and I don't see any scissors that got close to it. So I guess I'm gonna put some kind of decorative stitch over there, probably just in whatever color this is, just to close that up and go from there. But we're so close to having it all done and lovely, and now, oh well, it is what it is. And just like that, this cute little, completely from my stash, scrappy quilt is all done. So I do feel like it kind of gave me a kick back into getting my Sewjo going again. Last week I spent the whole time cleaning the house because we had family over, so cleaning took into my sewing time, which is no fun at all. So it was nice to get this little guy done. It didn't take a lot of thought. Everything was already in my stash. So there's the front, and then here's a little look at the crazy back. It's not too crazy. It's still color coordinated. So that macrame pantograph is for sure one of my favorites. So there's a little peek at that and the binding. So I'm gonna go take this outside, get a couple pictures, and then maybe next week I'll have some progress done on my kitty cat's quilt. So fingers crossed, we'll see you again soon.